Yo, what is up, YouTube? It is your boy Jay here, and welcome back to another video. Now, today in this video, I'm doing something a little different, which I think. So my friend had asked me a question, and he said, "Which one is the better healer, monk or mage?" And my immediate response would have been mage, but I've never actually used a monk character before. So I decided to go ahead and make a monk and make it a healer, of course, and get them both to level 75 and whatnot. And once I did that, I'm making this video, of course. And so I just want to compare and contrast the different features of being a monk slash mage, whichever one you prefer. And there's a lot of people who will say that a monk is better. And I never understood why, which some random guy on Global had said that monks actually heal faster. Their spells are faster. Well, taking that into consideration, I don't think that makes the monk better than a mage because obviously you can use haste spells to increase their or how fast, like you increase the speed of casting the spell. So I don't believe it should be based off of speed alone, but one thing that separates the monk and mage that I have found is that when you are a mage, you can DPS pretty good. Like, I mean, you could DPS as a heal pretty well because you have these three spells here: Dark Nova, Stars Aligned, and Lunar Eclipse, that actually help you DPS even though you're a heal, because you still need to, like, let's say you're questing, you're going to be able to kill a monster and not just run away from it and heal yourself. So that's one thing that the monk doesn't really have. So of course, when I activate Lunar Eclipse, it increases the damage of your abilities, attack abilities. I'm sorry, attack spells. So Dark Nova, Stars Align does some pretty good damage. You can see that I'm pretty fast. And we can just check out the damage right here. It's not the best, of course, because it's not a DPS, it's a healer. But this small amount of DPSing is important for, let's say, questing, or if you're in a battle of any sort, like PvP, you're going to want to be able to attack along with healing. And so switching back from healing is easy because all I gotta do is hit Lunar Eclipse, and then you'll notice that your attack spells don't do as much damage. Like we were just hitting 6k, now we're at 3.6 roughly. And so same thing with this one. I think we were hitting like 12 with that. Now it's at 5. So taking that out of consideration, when Lunar Eclipse is deactivated, obviously your healing abilities go up. So let's say I'll use White Dwarf, 6.1k per second looks like. Galactic Halo. Let's see how much this does. 19k. 19k just for that one spell. Then Tranquil Nebula is 4.1 each time. Now, to do this or to compare them, I'm going to do something that's a little weird. Not a lot of people recommended this, but I thought it was the absolute best way to get their actual abilities over their gear and their equipment, because this guy actually heals more than my monk only because he has a few T5 or T6 accessories. I think he has the cape, like the T5 cape, yeah. So we're actually going to take everything off of this character, all the armor and everything, accessories and all, even the weapons, because I believe I can still heal without the weapons, or without these guys here. So a little weird, understood, but let's just see how much they heal with no gear at all. So 1.4 roughly, and you can see that the character gear score is absolute 0. So this was the best way to compare it with 100% accuracy. So Tranquil Nebula, so these three spells, I've actually I picked these three spells simply for the fact that there's three spells that are pretty similar, almost the exact same, especially the Tranquil Nebula. They're exact same to the monk. So you can see on this guy, Tranquil Nebula is doing about, let's see, 1.5, 1.4-ish, I think it was. we'll say 1.5. Galactic Halo is doing 4,500, and then this one does 2.2 every second. So we're just going to compare those to the monk. So I'm just going to switch characters, and when I switch characters, I will be right back. Okay, so now that I switched to my monk character, we can compare the healing spells again. So now I'm gonna do the exact same thing that I did on my other character. I'm gonna take off absolutely everything just to compare with 100% accuracy, or not necessarily 100%, but as close to being as accurate as possible. So now that my character is completely nude, these are the 3 spells that I had picked that were as similar to the other ones. Galactic Hero or Galactic Halo. The one that I picked was very similar, was Divine Light. And then this guy right here, Ring of Healing, I picked to be for, I believe it was Tranquil Nebula. And then the other one that was really quick and fast, I used this one. And wow. So that one actually hit 12K just off of me, my first time with no gear or anything. So that's actually pretty cool. And just to show you guys, attribute gear scores, my equipment level is absolute 0, just like the last time. So let's go ahead and compare the healing abilities. So last time we were hitting about 1.5, 1.4K for Tranquil Nebula. So let's see how much we get for this guy. 2.7, 2.6, 2.7-ish, 2.8. So right off the bat, Monk is healing not necessarily faster because the spells are just about the same speed, but it is healing way better than the actual Mage did. So that's impressive. So if Galactic Halo was that one that took a while to cast, but gave us 19K healing points. So let's go ahead and check out this one. This one's called Divine Light, and 4.8. So there's a big difference there, because Galactic Halo was giving us about 12K without all the gear and stuff, and this one is only giving us, for the monk, roughly about 5K. Although the Ring of Healing, which is mostly used, I want to say, is giving us 2.7, when the last time on the Mage it was giving us 1.5. So that right off the bat is pretty impressive. With this being said, I'm leaning more towards the monk being better, only because it's not necessarily faster like the one random guy I told you about said, but just because of without all the gear, this guy is healing 2.7 right off the bat. And then this one, 12.4K with no gear at all and no healing gems or nothing. That is impressive. Very impressive. So far I'm leaning towards Monk. But here's the bad part. So Monk looks like it's the better healer overall, just for healing though. But when we take damage into consideration, and I'll go ahead and put all my gear back on for this. But Monk, unfortunately, does not have, it doesn't really have a damage feature, if you know what I mean. Like, it's very complicated, very complicated. I guess I'll show you guys. So when you go to spells and talents, of course, healer, martial. So as a healer, you only have 2 spells, I think it is here. So 2 spells that actually do somewhat of damage. And so you can pick from this row with Phoenix Storm, Fire of Faith, which I think does the most damage from both of those. But Phoenix Storm is actually, it does a range attack, like, not necessarily a range, but like a perimeter attack. Everyone that's around you from a certain amount of meters, which in this case would be 5. And this one's only to 1. And this right here adds a new effect to influence, puts an opponent to sleep for 7 seconds, which I thought would be better for PvP. And then this guy right here, these are all pretty similar, but this guy right here removes the restore effect and adds a new effect, silencing your target and healing you. So what this does is your target can't attack you for the amount of time this takes, or the amount of, I believe, so it doesn't say the actual amount of time they can't attack you, but I would assume somewhere around 3 seconds. So, and it heals you at the same time, so you can be DPSing. So we compared the the mage's attack abilities even as a healer. So now we can compare the monk a little bit. And so the monk has only two. Only two. I guess you could say three if you really want to count that, because it silences them, so you can't, so they can't attack you. But really, they only have two, and this damage is that was nothing. It just silenced them. So you only have, if we're being very technical here, you only have one spell that can actually do some damage, and that's this one right here, and that's only 3k per, we'll say about 2 seconds, 1 second to cast it, and then the cooldown. So every 2 seconds you're doing about 3k, which is very annoying, very low. So overall, with this being said, the mage has better DPS as a healer, but healing power is less of that than a monk. But the monk has better healing power, but is a much worse DPS as a healer. So then there's the question of which one is a better as a DPS instead of a healer. And for that, guys, I have to say that the mage is a way better DPS. Unfortunately, I don't have the proof to show you guys on my channel, but just from this video here, I just want to let you know that in my opinion, basing this off of accuracy alone, when I did this small test a while back ago, before I made this monk a healer, as far as DPS wise, the mage was superior as far as DPS. Monk, you have two options. You can use a staff, and there's two spells that will be left out when you do that, which I believe is Tiger Claw, and then there was one other one. But so there's weapons, there's spells that you need two-handed weapons for, that are weapons like this, that go on your character's hand as like almost like a claw. So there's weapons that you need. They need fist weapons, as they call them, and then there's spells that you need a staff for. So with that being said, it was a little weird at first getting used to it, but I tried it out. I compared DPS with zero gear on, so my gears core was absolute zero, and the monk was just far, or the far, like way down below. And as a DPS, I mean, I had a lot of I was hoping that the monk would be a better DPS, because I actually like the mage over the monk as far as a healer. So I wanted to have both of them, and have them both have different roles, of course. But the monk's healing powers were better, so I decided to stick with the monk and change my mage to a DPS, which I'll be doing at a later day. So I think in the next video I'll go over how to level up as fast as possible, because a friend had asked me, how do I level up so fast? He's new to the game, but he does really have the ropes. But as far as leveling up as fast as possible, it's all about dungeons. But I will get into that in the next video. And with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I said, I think monk is a better healer, and a mage is definitely a better DPS, no doubt about it. But that doesn't mean you can't use a mage as a healer. Both of them are pretty good as far as healing. And just because a monk might have better healing powers doesn't mean you can't get your mage up to the same level. It just takes better gear and using gems to get them to where you want. So really, which one is better? The only accurate way to answer that is whatever one you prefer. They have different spells. Some of them are very similar. Some of them are very different. And I think using both of them and finding out which one you like the best is probably going to be the best way to determine which one you pick. But as far as leveling up, the mage was also easier to level up than the monk. And the only reason I say this is because the mage's mana regen was a lot better than the monk's by a long shot, as far as the DPS. And I found that the mage, after you got around level 40 or so, you never really had any more mana problems. But the mana problems, as far as like running out and not being able to cast spells on the monk, have been happening continuously up until I got around level 70, where it started to even out. But I still, as a monk, I still keep mana potions on me if I ever go into dungeons or anything like that. So, with that being said, which one's the better healer? That is completely up to you guys and whatever you prefer. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all later.